All right. So part of what I like to do with this is that, I'm very fortunate in that I'm at a point in my life where I have a lot of time, and I spend a lot of time focused on paying attention to this stuff. I really do. I dedicate hours and hours and hours and hours and hours a day I spend studying and learning and educating myself. And Chuck, on the other hand, is coming through his busy season at work and can't pay attention. Like, in the past, just to compliment you, I've had people come back to me and say, "Hey, I found it impressive that Chuck read this House resolution and that kind of stuff because you do like to pay close attention. But like everybody else right now, you're busy. And I like that because this gives us an interesting way to talk back and forth. So there's been some things that have been happening in Venezuela. So understanding, because I think it's important to understand what the perspective is of someone who's not fully paying attention to see the way the message is getting out there. So what are you getting from this whole Venezuela situation that's been happening over the last month or so?
Okay, while you're right, while I've been busy, I haven't been able to examine this topic, but I do know a little bit about it, probably more than people that don't pay any attention to politics. Those people are just hearing, oh, Pete Hegseth, he's going to get thrown out because he double tapped a boat, whatever, of innocent Venezuelans is what I believe the story is going around. I am aware that we are waging an actual war on drugs. We grew up with the war on drugs thing, which was a whole lot of money dumped into the war on drugs with no end of drugs in sight, so whatever that, but it looks like there's a real war on drugs. And the Trump administration, led by Pete Hegseth in this case, has taken the hard line on if there is a boat that is not documented or not, whatever, it's not like a pleasure bar. If they believe for whatever reason that it is a drug boat, they are bombing it, so it doesn't hit our shores. And it seems to me that they're fairly certain that absolutely certain that they're bombing drug boats. I'm a regular citizen. I can't confirm that for myself. And if I could, like you said, I haven't had the time to check up on that. So if Hegseth was lying to me right now, I'd probably fall for it, hook, line, and sinker. I also know that being more, I don't know, paying better attention generally during the year of what's going on. The Maduro administration, if you want to call it administration, is really a narco-terrorist group, and their entire government is basically a front for drug smuggling in connection with Colombia and so on and so forth. But that's it seems to me that's the way their entire government functions. It's like a sham government. So we're trying to stop it. The most latest thing is we took out a boat and it wasn't completely done, so they swung back around. They hit it with another couple missiles. They're trying to do something illegal in our country. On the way to our country, take them out. They tried to lay blame on Pete Hegseth. They tried to lay blame on the general that actually ordered the second hit. But that's the extent of what I know. And that people are screaming about it. Oh, you're killing innocent Venezuelans.
Right, right, right. Have you heard anything about Trump pardoning a drug dealer? So they're saying, oh, he's going after this cartel, but he's pardoning a drug dealer over here. Have you?
Not from anything. I haven't seen clips from any mainstream media about it. I saw an article or something, and I glanced at it for a little bit. I started to read it, and then I got sidetracked with work and forgot to come back to it. So, yeah, not a ton. I saw it, but I don't know a ton about it.
All right. So here's my thought process. Number one, based upon something that you said, I find it awfully ironic that when we were kids in the 80s,
Mm.
and you had like was Nancy Reagan and on different strokes doing say no to drugs.
I like
Meanwhile, the
I liked Nancy. I did.
yeah,
Not
good old Nancy Reagan. Good
no,
old
how
Nancy
you
Reagan.
like Nancy Pelosi. I like Nancy Reagan, but not the way you like Pelosi.
Yeah. Well, Nancy Pelosi's, it's not a bad looking woman. But anyway.
Go.
Evil could be good looking too, Evil could be good looking. But anyway, back to lovely. Nancy Reagan was lovely. Not like Nancy Pelosi, who's hot. Nancy Reagan was
Oh my God.
lovely. She was a lovely, lovely woman. And she's saying say no to drugs. Meanwhile, the CIA is just funneling cocaine galore onto the street. So you're talking about the war on drugs. The war on drugs is like out in front. They're going, hey, just put those kilos over there. No, nothing.
No,
No drugs for anybody.
that's
No,
it's got
yeah.
it's fine.
What are you talking about? We say no to drugs around here. What are you talking about? So you got Nancy Reagan saying say no to drugs while the CIA is just funneling drugs like crazy here. Because here's the point: is that yeah, Trump apparently he apparently pardoned some guy who used to be the president of Honduras who used to just sell cocaine galore to people. But here's the deal: is that it's not about selling drugs; it's about who's selling drugs and what they're doing with the money.
Hmm.
Okay, if you are selling gaggles and gaggles. If you're selling cocaine by the pallet to countries and then you're taking that money and you're enriching your family and you have a house with an elephant and a lion and you have a speedboat and you're like in a racing company, they're not going to care. But
Yeah.
when you're selling a whole bunch of drugs and then you're using it to fund operations like, I don't know, machines for the consortium for elections and political process strengthening that just overthrows governments all over the country. And you're using that drugs for black box operations for, intelligence communities and enemies of ours like India, or not, I'm sorry, not India, but like China
Hmm.
and Russia, people like that. That's where they start to get concerned. So it's not the drug dealer of it all, it's what they're doing with the profits. It's
Hmm.
what they're doing with the profits. And why am I saying that? Because people have a lot of outrage. They're like, oh, Trump's getting rid of these cartel people, but he's letting these cartel people free. And it's like, yep,
No,
that's the way it's always been.
the guy you're talking about, wasn't Trump pardoned him because he was actually working with the CIA, correct?
I don't know. I don't know. Probably. If there's drugs
It
being
was,
sold in America, the CIA probably has something to
yeah, like
do.
they made a patsy out of him. Like, oh, we got to point the fingers. Like, oh, we got this guy on the payroll. Let's point the finger at him. I'm pretty sure that's why he got the pardon. Like I said, I didn't read into it, but I remember something about that and what I did
So if
read.
I'll be honest with you, there's a reason why I didn't bother reading into it. The reason why I didn't bother reading into it because I basically see this guy as object of outrage to distract from the story. That's
Oh
all
yeah,
he
yeah,
is. He's object of like I perused it enough to see that Trump was like, oh, he was over prosecuted by Biden and he was prosecuted in the end of 2024, which screams that
yeah.
maybe he was trying to take some pieces off the table. Whatever, I don't know. It's all speculation. Point is that's I don't care of it all because long before I knew about this president from Honduras, I knew about all the bad stuff that was happening in Venezuela. And
Right.
it's not just about drugs. That's the point, is it's not just about drugs. There's a bigger geopolitical situation. And one of the things, something I heard this week, which I thought was great, is that the Western media does a really, really good job of distracting the West from Western threats, like Cuba.
Yeah.
Like Cuba, okay?
Mhm.
So these Venezuelans are working with the Cubans. They're working, I think, with the Colombians, and then
They are.
you get into the China and the Russia of it all, and you get into the elections of it all. There's a lot more to it. There was a letter that was released by a guy named General Carvalho, came out 2 days ago, and I put it up on my social media. It's out there a lot, And dear Mr. President and the people of America, my name is Hugo Carvalho Barrios. I'm not going to read the whole thing, but he
I
literally
saw it.
goes down narco terrorism, Tren de Aragua. Oh, he talks about what is the Cartel del Sol. He calls it the
Uh-huh.
Cartel of the Sun, but the Cartel del Sol, which is basically the Venezuelan cartel. You know,
Mhm.
counterintelligence and espionage against the United States, smartmatic in your elections. This is a guy who was a three-star general in Venezuela who knows where the bodies are buried, and he's been busted, and he's kind of doing a mea culpa type of a deal, which everyone will be like, oh, we can't believe anything he says because. But the thing is that if you already understood what was going on, and then you have a guy who's telling you, oh, all this stuff that you knew about, let me explain in deep, that's where it comes into play. So that's what people need to pay attention to. And then another time
Yeah.
we'll talk about why does the media want us to not bother with Venezuela. That's a whole other topic.
Well, because they don't want us to see how our elections are stolen.
There's a whole
Yeah.
bunch of stuff with that. There's a whole bunch of stuff with that.